Hi, I'm Partybug, and welcome to Let's Play BlazBlue. This first video is an intro to the game mechanics, so if you already know how to play this game, or you just want to look at pretty colors and don't care how it works, you can skip this one. First off, let's look at the interface. If you've ever played a fighting game, you'll undoubtedly recognize the basics. Each player has a health bar, and there's a timer, and at the bottom is your heat gauge, which is this game's way of saying special meter. Under your health bar you'll see one of a few new things. The barrier gauge, it shows you how much barrier you have. Barrier is a special type of blocking, which we'll get into later. The middle gauge is the guard libra. If you block, you lose a little bit of it, and it's the same for your opponent. Think of it like a tug-of-war match. If you lose it all, you enter a break state, which stuns you for a moment and gives your opponent a chance for a free hit. Not a good thing. You'll also see a barrier burst icon. We'll get into that too. Let's talk about movement. You can run forward, you can dash backward, and you can jump. You can also air dash back and forth. And if you hold down before you jump, you'll perform a super jump that'll send you further into the air than usual. As a note, if you're looking at notation for this game, you'll often see directions on the D-pad or joystick labeled as numbers. So, if you hear someone talking about 6A or 2C, what they're really saying is a light attack while pressing forward, or a heavy attack while pressing down. Speaking of attacks, all characters in BlazBlue have 4 standard types of attack: light, medium, heavy, and drive. The drive move differs for each character, and basically allows them to perform a special attack. Ragna, for instance, steals a tiny bit of health when hit with his drive move. By pressing different directions, you can do different attacks as well, such as down heavy or forward medium. Types of attacks are referred to as A, B, C, and D for light, medium, heavy, and drive respectively. Characters can also perform special attacks. We call them distortion drives. You do so by building heat. Heat is built by blocking, attacking, or on its own if you're at low health. You'll need 50% heat to perform your special attack. And if you're in the final round, you can also perform an astral finish, which is, in addition to being a one-hit kill, a fantastic way to humiliate your opponent. However, there are some conditions. Your opponent has to be at 20% health or less, it has to be the final round, and you have to have 100 heat. Let's talk about rapid cancels. Rapid canceling happens when you press A, B, and C together in the middle of an attack. It'll automatically cancel whatever you're doing and take you back into a neutral stance. Now, rapid canceling is good because you can use it to extend combos where you otherwise might not be able to. You can also use it to cancel out of unsafe moves, like a blocked super. Finally, you can use it to mix up your opponent and surprise them with an attack where you otherwise would not be able to. As a note, you do need 50% heat for a rapid cancel. Our final offensive item is the grab. There are 2 kinds of grabs. Green grab, which happens when someone grabs you right out of the blue, and purple grab, which happens when your opponent grabs you in the middle of their combo. Purple grabs give you much more time to respond and break free. Green grabs, not so much, but they can be broken. So don't get grabbed. No excuse. There are also some character-specific gauges, but we'll get into those as we cover each character. Now that we've taken a look at offense, let's try some defense. Blocking is accomplished how you'd expect. You press back. Sometimes you press down and back if you want to block low. Low blocks will catch most attacks, except for jumping and specific overhead attacks, so you gotta be paying attention to your opponent's mix-ups. Barrier guarding, mentioned before, brings up this cool shield. It'll prevent you from taking any chip damage you might suffer from a special attack. However, you can run out of barrier. You can track how much you have with your barrier gauge at the top. If you run out, you'll enter a danger state where you take even more damage than usual. Instant blocking is done by pressing back just as your opponent attacks. You can still take chip damage from specials, but you'll also recover from your block much faster. The next type of defense is a burst. If you panic and mash every button, you'll do one of these. It'll send your opponent flying off you. You only get one, and it can be blocked. Bursting poorly can cost you the match. Next type of defense is a counter assault. If you have 50 heat, you can press A and B while blocking and your character will throw your opponent off of you. Now recovery, also called teching or wake up. This happens after you've been hit and you get up from an attack. You can roll back, you can roll forward, or you can get straight up. There are two last things I should mention. The first is a counter, which happens when you hit your opponent out of their attack. When this happens, the opponent is stunned for longer than usual, and they can't tech until later. So it's good for combos. You get options that you normally would not get. Second is a clash. That happens when two attacks collide. No damage is done, but you can link into it as if you were doing a usual combo. And that's it. Those are the basics. A lot of stuff, but you'll get the hang of it.